Yeah.
Look at how rich he thinks he is. He has one AirPod in. Oh, fuck you. So, ladies and gentlemen, I am about to present to you the worst vlog in history. I think from the point at which this first clip was filmed, it's been around 10 days or so. So I'm just gonna retrospectively look back at everything that happened and just commentate on it, basically. Also, another thing I just realized now looking at this first clip is I'm wearing the same shirt. But I swear this was 10 days ago, and I haven't worn this shirt since. But yeah, we start this vlog with a sales call. Now, one thing I really need to stress here is that this is not a conventional sales call. First of all, we already discussed pricing and all of that stuff on the first call. We set up the second call to take payment and just set up some of the things logistically. Basically, it was a $20,000, which comes to 15,000 pound, 2-day webinar funnel build. A little bit of context, this person was a client before for 4,000 pounds a month. That's why at this point I'm charging 25,000 pounds, which is around $32,000 for a 2-day webinar build. Discounted to 20,000 because he was a client, and also because this client was going to be coming to Cape Town rather than me traveling. I'm at a point where I just don't really want to travel for the agency. So now you're up to scratch. Now, the thing that this client was trying to do in the sales call was trying to pick apart this 2-day webinar build and was like, oh, I've already done this. I've already done this. So why don't you just go ahead and discount it, and almost wanted it set up a la carte when for me, it just wasn't really worth it. So you're going to see kind of a little bit of a tussle between us in this following sales call, but I'm gonna go ahead and play this and then I'll interject at certain points. All right, apologize for any background noise. The cleaner's just doing her thing. Mr. Benavides will be with us shortly. He is... Basically, Kieran, you wanna explain what happened? I'm just gonna get like...
Yeah, Danny embarked about 4 days ago on the mother of fasts. Yeah, so literally he hadn't had anything to eat for 4 days. Yeah. And then at about 11 a.m. yesterday, he broke it. And he didn't ease himself back in. He just ate everything in sight. And he just sent in the early hours of this morning the world's saddest email saddest message out saying, I'm not feeling very well after eating too much. I don't think I'm going to be able to make it this morning. So obviously this client knows who Danny is. Like, we wouldn't make such crude jokes if he didn't already know us, if he hadn't already had months of experience working with us. Well, to be honest, I say that. Depending on how old they were, maybe we might have still made the same joke. Here's the thing, like, for us as an agency, we've gone to a point where we can be selective with who we work with. And to be very blunt, like, I just don't like working with boring corporate-y type people. And we like to have a lot of fun with our agency. We like to joke around. So while I say that we wouldn't make that joke with a new potential client, maybe once they got to know Danny a little bit better, or actually I would say something like this probably on the strategy session, which is the first call after they pay and sign as a client, almost to kind of like break the ice. Let's get back into it. So we're all feeling a bit sorry for this.
I'm just gonna go ahead.
The same thing kind of happened to me yesterday.
Mr. Benavides, can you get out of the toilet? We have a client call.
Yeah, I'm joining now.
Okay, there you go. Kieran, what's the thing, like, Danny, how's your benevarectum or something like that?
Well,
He's had Danny Benavides.
Danny, why you not show your face?
Danny, you gotta show your face, come on.
I think Danny's gone shy.
now, can you hear me?
Yeah.
We can hear you, Danny, but that's not good enough.
Bro, you want to see me too?
Yes, please.
Danny, what's up with the Pimp Daddy jacket?
It's cold outside.
You're the most European looking Colombian man I've ever seen. Alright, so let's get straight into it. So figure out all your dates and everything?
I did, kinda in a way. But it's just like I was thinking like a lot of 15,000 pounds. I just want to make sure like I know exactly like what's going to be done, because I feel like it's going to take literally like 20 minutes, because the landing page is something that takes like 20 minutes, and I already have a landing page done for a webinar, which I did myself. I think it looks pretty nice. A thank you page on every webinar is pretty easy to make. I already have the scripts done for, the thank you page. Like I have it, like the actual scripts done, so I could read it off a Telegram and I could record it, in any nice office in New York City. The webinar I have finished as well, which I could, send to you guys. Obviously, we can improve it. The email sequences, like that's the one thing which I think is like necessary and which I actually need from you guys. Like not only the emails to pitch the webinar, like, okay, the webinar is going on in 5 days, you should jump on and register, but also the emails, which are the follow-up sequence. Mm-hmm. But, just for emails, like, in a way, obviously Facebook retargeting copy as well. So in my opinion, if it's just kind of emails and Facebook ad copy, what kind of makes more sense to me is, because my webinar is finished, like I could have the webinar this Thursday, like next week, and we could have, obviously maybe if there's like one little tweak it could do better, but like I'm not sure because it's like pretty high quality. What I was thinking about is, since email marketing is like more necessary, that's like the bulk of it, and like copy, maybe it's best if we go straight into the, like this isn't for sure yet because I haven't decided 100%, but I think maybe it's best if we go into like a deal where, okay, it's £4,000 a month for running Facebook ads and YouTube ads, but then if I pay maybe let's say £2,000 extra, then there's like email marketing included for like active campaign, like setup sequences, and maybe like we set up a plan where it's like there's broadcasts being sent out as well. So it's £4,000 for like the front end offer and also retargeting onto the webinar. So it's like two different campaigns. And then also an extra £2,000 for just consistent email marketing, which, with good results, and onto the webinar, and also for sequences.
Mm-hmm. Okay, so at this point, the client basically doesn't want to do the 2-day training, even though they've confirmed it on the first call. They're getting cold feet / trying to push back on the price. They're saying, look, run our ads for £4,000 a month again, and then charge an extra £2,000 a month for like getting the funnel done / consistent email. Like I didn't really understand it. At this point, I had this tussle had been going on in the first call. I mean, Kieran can tell you what was the first call like.
It was excruciating. Wow, really unpleasant to listen to and be on.
Why?
Because he was pushing back and just trying to eke as much off the price as possible, and just kept trying to dismantle the services that we're offering and picking and choosing, which is basically just another way for a client to say no. And then you were really difficult.
What do you mean I was really difficult?
You gave it as good as you got.
Yeah, I don't break easily. Look, at the end of the day, also, like, I mean, you just said that that's a way for a client to say no. Here's the thing, I knew 100% of the client wanted it. I guess that's also why you're gonna see me in a little bit almost take the piss. To be very blunt, like, we kind of took the piss with this call. And the only reason that I guess I was comfortable doing this is because I knew the client 100% wanted it. I just needed to make it super clear the fact that, first of all, I sound so insensitive when I say this, but to be honest, at this stage, we're very blessed. We work very hard. As you can see, I put Kieran through so much hard work writing our client copy that he has to use what is that thing?
A heat patch.
A heat patch, there you go.
It's a constant repetitive neck strain.
Look, we worked very hard, and Danny is on the other side of the world right now with like nubs for fingers because he's just been setting up new ads, like thousands of new ad sets, and it's just, they've worn away to like this point. He just has little nubs he presses. As I said, we've gone to a point with our agency where, like, to be very blunt, £15,000 for 2 days of our time, we just couldn't care less. And I needed the client to know that there was no negotiation. Like, I am 100% fine walking away from this. And the way that I conveyed it, it's gonna be very funny. It's not conventional, but as I said, first of all, we've already worked with this client, etc., etc. And it was the fact that it was that first call where it was like there was so much pushback from both sides, and I thought we'd come to agreement that I was almost getting a little fed up at this point, and I was just like, I need to make it 100% apparent that we couldn't care less whether this went through or it didn't, because first of all, at the end of the day, we were already discounting it 10 grand from the normal £25,000 fee. Granted, he used to be a client, he wanted to come back as a client after this funnel build and had the luxury of not having to leave the country. First things first, I explained this to you already. We don't need to be face to face to do this, but out of courtesy, as I said, I'm already going ahead and because you've already been a client in the past, I'm already going ahead and discounting it heavily. I'm not gonna discount it any further than that. As I said, you know, if you want, you can most certainly go and find someone on Upwork. But if you want to go ahead and piece together, because also you got to keep in mind, like, yeah, cool, there's the landing page video and this and that, but there's also fucking 12 pages in the follow-up. There's 12 pages of follow-up, which the emails then go on, and it gives people extended free training. If you go through my webinar, you get extended free training. There's a 30-minute video, which is from the Grow Your Agency party. Just like all these different things outside of just the webinar itself. I want people to understand the scope of the community. I want people to understand the you know, as I said, just have all that extended free training as well. So if you want to go ahead and build that out yourself and you just want us to write your emails for you. So at this point, Danny actually messages me on Slack while we're on the client call, and he actually says that I think it might be a better use of our time. Well, maybe he's referring to just his time and my time for us to write the 18-ish follow-up emails depending on what stage they go on the funnel. Because guess who writes the emails? So I was like, that is true. 15,000 pounds, $20,000 for 2 8-hour days of my time. Or we just get Kieran to write remotely for 7,500 pounds, $10,000. I'm like, Danny, that he might be onto something. Is that not okay for me to say?
Where's he from? Colombia.
I love it. We cannot say that.
So yeah, at this point I was like, that actually does make a lot of sense. So that's why I pivoted last minute and I offered this. I'm happy to do that for 7,500 pounds. Wouldn't do it a dime less. Offered the emails for 7,500 pounds, so $10,000. But as I said, you know, that means that you have to spend 3-4 days putting together your landing page, all your follow-up pages, obviously no help with the webinar itself, this and that, or you could kind of just get it done in the space of 2 days. For me, you know,
I've already finished it. Like, you know, like that's parts like I've already had done. Like I'll send you guys the link over if you want. Mm-hmm. And like as of now, it's
yeah. I mean, look, here's the thing. You know, here's the thing. I have no doubts that you can do one. It's just how well can you do it and how big of a difference. Like, let's say you go ahead and you put 10,000 people. If you can increase your conversion rate, like let's say your conversion rate is 2%, you increase that conversion rate by literally 25%, taking it 2.5%. Then that means bottom line for you, to be very blunt, there's no conversation here. We charge 25,000. A perfect example of someone within your niche directly who we charged 25,000 to. Well, actually, it was 32. That was 32,000 because in our first month with him, we made him $60,000 profit. And it's an info product business, so that's cash in hand. So, you know, for him, he was like, okay, yeah, obviously, I have full trust in you guys. So that was 32,000 pounds. We're talking 15,000 here. And you know, we don't mind, you're already an existing client. But there's no debate here. There's no back and forth. Can we unplug one piece? Danny, how's your anus holding up? Okay, so once again, this is not conventional. I wouldn't normally do this, but literally between the first sales call that we had, which was probably around 40 minutes, and the second one, which I think at this point is like around 25 minutes in, it's like it's been an hour, and at this point, like I've tried to make it so apparent that, like, you know, there is no budging on the price. So once again, I've restated that again, and then I just stayed silent and just like balls in your court. And there was basically, I think we shortened this a bit, but there was around a 10-second silence. And at that point I was like, because here's the thing, you want a bit of silence so that way they have to do some work. But I also don't believe in just like being standoffish for the sake of being standoffish. Like at the end of the day, like this person was a client. Like at the end of the day, like we respect all of our clients' business. You know, as jokey as this has been, And from the although some of my comments, I said we worked very, very hard. For the longest time it was the opposite. It was me chasing clients, and at the end of the day, with a lot of clients, it's still like that. I want their business, but we've gone to a good place of abundance with our agency. But nonetheless, kind of back to my point, I don't want to be standoffish or rude for no reason. So once 10 seconds passed, I was like, this is getting to a point where it feels as though I'm being a little standoffish. So I wanted to break the tension as well as say something without me being the one to cave in. So that's why I directed the attention off of, and I just straight up asked Danny, how's your anus? And the funniest thing is, it had the exact desired effect, which is, I think 10, 15 seconds later, he actually went, let me call my business partner.
Everything's coming together.
Like, I'm gonna call one of my partners. I'll be right back. I'm just gonna consult him for a second.
Okay, perfect. How long will that be?
No worries.
I think like 3 minutes. It's gonna be 3 minutes.
We'll stay on the line. Thank you so much. Thank you. Kieran, you got any fun weekend plans? So, as I said, right after I said that preposterous thing, he actually went, let me call my business partner. So it's funny how these things work. Now, the other thing that you'll notice is I actually tell him, basically, the payment tried to go through and it's £15,000. And as I tell everyone in Agency Incubator, first of all, they're not a client until that payment has come through. I don't care what you say. I don't care how certain you are that they are gonna sign. They've signed the doesn't mean shit until that payment has come through. And as I recommend in Agency Incubator, use Stripe to process the payments. Now, his bank declined it, and you can see on the Stripe history what the decline code was. So sometimes it'll be like insufficient funds. That only ever happened to me once with a client, and it's obviously a little funny because you realize that the client doesn't have enough money in their bank account to pay for your service, which is a little odd. But funnily enough, in that instance, the client actually ended up paying. So I don't know if they just kept a low amount in that specific checking account or whatever. But so there's insufficient funds, but the thing that you're gonna get most of the time is do not honor, which basically means their bank has declined it, and that's probably because it's a larger than normal payment, or they might have a credit limit. So a lot of novice or intermediary agency owners in that scenario might be like, oh, okay, no worries, like go, call your bank, or like you sort it out, and we'll deal with it some other time. Not me. Like, I have for up to 45 minutes in the past stayed on the call, told them to mute themselves, and literally stayed there while they have called the bank. Sometimes I'll even get them. They'll be like, oh, do you not need to work? I'm like, no, that's fine. Like, I insist, I will not leave that call until the payment has been processed. So we stayed on for maybe like 10, 15 minutes. And it finally came back that the bank had to increase the limit on the card. And in that scenario, it's like, okay, I'm not gonna stay on for 3 hours or an hour while they process that, and then that takes effect. So in that instance, I did leave. But most of the time, I will stay on and I will make sure that that payment goes through. And I've waited up to 45 minutes on the call before to make sure that that happens. And then the next thing after that is, just more joking. And I know it seems odd, or it seems a little out of place. But once again, it's two parts. Number one, that's actually what we're like as an agency. Like, honestly, the most incredible thing about building my team over the past like year and a half, 2 years, is just genuinely how much fun we have as a team. But the other part was, okay, we got business out the way. Once again, just a little bit of joking, a little bit of fun. Keep it lighthearted, especially because, as I said, while this was going on, his business partner actually was calling the bank and getting the credit limit moved up. So either we could sit there and talk about business and, be stiff and stale, or we could joke, we could laugh, and once again, just give off the impression, which is true. They're like, we have a bunch of fun at our agency. To be blunt, with or without this deal, we're totally okay. We couldn't care less. And at the end of the day, no matter what in life, and I've noticed this, whether it is socially or business, a lot more in business than most people realize. If you are yourself or as an agency, an organization that has fun, that quite clearly has options of who they can work with, all in all, clients have a lot more respect for you and they take you a lot more seriously.
Yeah, it's a do not honor. It's just a bank. Basically came out back with do not honor. So it's probably just a bank, or it is just a bank decline.
It says your card was declined.
Yeah, what I was saying is you could probably do, if you're staying, you could probably do like 6 days in Cape Town, and then do maybe like 4 days in like, I don't know, fucking Madagascar. So I know Madagascar is, it's definitely a lot closer. It's pretty close. I don't know what you do in Madagascar. Apart from the movie, I have no,
Yeah, exactly.
I have no understanding. Is Madagascar actually a place? Like, I'm not gonna lie, this looks pretty fucking sick. Check this out.
Very touristy, for sure. Or Zimbabwe. Like Zimbabwe's sick too, because it has the waterfall system.
I'm pretty sure this is a it's a lemur, right?
Yeah.
Have you guys ever seen a slow loris?
Danny's nodding along because he's actually sitting right next to one. Like half of Danny's classmates are lemurs.
I do have kind of a jungle near there.
Yeah, so just go ahead and you can go ahead and mute yourself. So, ladies and gentlemen, 15,000 pounds, $20,000 closed. I should be a lot more happy, smiley, but to be honest, these days for this exact service, which is a 2-day funnel build, charging 25,000 pounds. So it's a 10 grand discount. Now, one thing I will say is this client has worked with us before, so they were paying a decent retainer. So because of that, I actually came in at 20,000, and then he came in with a budget of $10,000, which is 7,500 pounds. So he's at 7,500 pounds. I'm at 20,000 pounds. I'm just gonna go ahead and blur out the face because I'm talking about like specific figures for an existing client. And by the way, when I talk in the past about like old clients and stuff like that, I'm more than happy to talk about like their retainer and how much they paid and this, that. With existing clients, I'm more than happy to show who my existing clients are, etc., etc. You guys know I like to keep you up to date and whatnot. But when it comes to retainers, this person has a personal brand. So yeah, there's just certain stuff, especially when someone has a personal brand and they're in the public eye and this and that you want to keep a little bit more low profile. But I'll go ahead and throw in some clips, and you can see like there's a strong tussle of will that's going on, and eventually we came to 15,000 pounds, 2-day training. He's flying over to Cape Town in 10 days. That is one thing. Usually for 25,000, I have to fly to other people, which I just, at this point, I don't like traveling for work. Before it used to be exciting because I'm like, oh, it's a free holiday. Like apart from getting paid 25 grand, I also get to business expense a trip. These days, I feel like an old man. I don't want to leave my house. But one little caveat is he has a $14,000 limit he just called Chase. So he's currently on the phone to them, waiting for them to increase his credit limit. He's already tried to put the payment through like 4 or 5 times. And just a little tip, you guys probably already know this, but on Stripe, it comes back as either insufficient funds or do not honor, or sometimes it'll come back with like fraudulent payment or this or that. But it came back as do not honor, and that's just kind of like one of the easiest ways to know that the person has more than enough money in their bank account. It's just their bank is declining it because it's larger than normal payment. So you guys know my philosophy, which is until the payment has come through, they are not a client. You don't have that money and nothing is guaranteed. So I'm on standby waiting for that daily spending limit to increase, but you guys know I'll keep you updated. And as I said, it's super important you guys remember that. I think in 2 vlogs back, you guys saw that instance where on the Friday, 5,200 pound a month close, it was like guaranteed. The other 2 literally even said of, hey, even if the 3rd business partner isn't on board, like we're still gonna override the decision because we need to do this. We understand that we're bottlenecked by the fact that we're not bringing in spouts and spouts of the spout?
No.
Wait.
Terrible choice.
Wait, spout. It works to eject in a street. Wait.
No.
Wait.
You're wrong.
Wait, to emit or discharge forcibly. So as I was saying, spouts and spouts of cold traffic. But I don't even remember where we are. But long story short, I've been in this business quite a long time. So guys, I've kind of seen it all at this point. So for me, for a client to have cold feet, it never really happens. Like if a client says they're gonna pay, or if a client says they're on board, then 90% I'm confident. But I guess I still have PTSD from like 2 weeks ago when you guys saw that vlog where they said that was meant to be 5,200 pounds a month, around $6,500 a month retainer, and then they pulled out at the last minute. They got cold feet or something. Very, very weird situation. But long story short, waiting on this payment, and then it's secured in the bag, but still not too happy about it because it's only 15K. Man, 16-year-old me would want to punch me right now. All right, so came through. How do I show this without showing the? Look away, look away. Bro, this is like that spout thing all over again.
You're really using AirPods to flex how much money you make.
What is a 15 grand retainer, man? Or I said retainer, but not for me. For the kids. It's all for the kids. All right.
yeah, that's pretty much about it. Boom.
No, I'm not perfect, babe. I never tried to be. I can make you more than rain. I could get you on your knees. No, I'm not perfect, babe. I never tried to be. I can make you more than rain, more than rain.
Why does this look so odd? So it is exactly, I think it's been a week since we rolled the last clip, and Kieran has flown in from London despite coronavirus. By the way, was that an issue?
It wasn't an issue in Heathrow, and the people in Cape Town couldn't have been less fussed if they tried. They were like, "You've been to Italy, been to Iran?" No.
Wait, have you?
No.
Kieran's not bringing as many gifts as last time, but one thing he did bring was this right here, which is On It, Superhuman. So, if we come over to my little supplement cabinet right here, we got a couple different supplements, omega-3, creatine, L-carnitine, and ashwagandha, maca, and dopamine. A lot of these are really good, sort of natural nootropics slash, as many of you guys know, I've worked with a full-time fitness coach in the past. I also work with a detox coach. I've worked with a bunch of experts, and my detox coach, sorry Josh, he is not a fan of On It at all, even though On It is pretty expensive, to be honest, and yeah, On It is, I think Joe Rogan is an investor. It's run by a guy called Aubrey Marcus, but I used to have just a ton of like On It supplements. Honestly, I was a big fan of them, and they're just pretty easy to take, and their packaging is awesome. And I just like to have like everything from one brand. All of the supplements in here, if you were to get them separately and take the recommended dose, it would come out to like $7 a day on supplements. But because they kind of package it all together in this one thing, I think it comes out to like $3.50 a day or something like that. But look, I'll show you what's in here. So in the day we have Alpha Brain, Shroom Tech Immune, Strongbone. Never tried this one. I've done all these others. Shroom Tech, Sport, Toll, Human B Complex, Spirulina and Chlorella, Krill Oil, which is basically a better omega. Then for night we have New Mood, Key Minerals, Virotech, Spirulina and Chlorella, Shroom Tech Immune, and Krill Oil. And just the easy thing about this is you just open it up, and there you go. You got your like daily package. So you got your, I mean, it's literally just like 15 on this side, 15 on this side. So you got your day, and then you got your night. So super easy. You just rip it up, and you take this one with lunch, and then you just take this one an hour or 2 hours before bed. And there we go. My supplements are sorted. Anyways, on another note, the Gadzhi Season 2 prototypes should have arrived yesterday, so I'm getting a little concerned. I hope they come soon, because yeah, I don't know how solid the South African postage, it's not good, is it? No, you just keep shaking his head. And those are very important, because obviously, you know, it takes 2-3 weeks for all the prototypes to get done, and then they get sent to London, and then from London they're actually sent straight here. So all in all, if these get lost anywhere, it'll push back launch 3 or 4 weeks, so not good. Hopefully they come, and if they come, no, I don't think Nikolai would like that. Anyways, I also have a new hire to tell you guys about. His name is Nikolai, but he doesn't want to be on camera, but I'll tell you guys about that some other time maybe. Anyways, that's the update. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is the worst vlog in history of vlogs. I think this is spaced out over like 10 days or something, but nonetheless, I'll be retrospectively. Remember, what was that word we had an argument about?
Spouts.
Spout. Have we released that vlog yet?
That's in this one.
Oh yeah, it is. this is how long this vlog will stretch, but anyways.
He's forgotten he was wrong, guys.
So one thing that we got was 3 shirts and a hoodie for Season 2 of Gadzhi. Now, I'm gonna go ahead and throw up the designs on the screen right now to give you guys an idea of what the season is gonna look like. One thing about season 1 of Gadzhi, about the marble collection, is like, look, let's be honest, most of the time you see the photo of something and then you get it in person and it's way worse than you thought it would be. Well, one of the biggest pieces of feedback with the Gadzhi clothing line is photos look amazing, but in person people are just stunned by the level of the marbling. Like, guys, I can't put it into words. Now, one thing I will say about this specific shirt is I think this is one of the early prototypes, and this has been washed maybe like 50 times. That definitely doesn't come across in this lighting. But look, my point is, like, you can see the marbling effect, and no two shirts are the same. Like, it's not like a graphic that's kind of printed. It genuinely looks like 15 minutes ago it's been marbled. So all in all, marbling is not easy on a black shirt, but we've been able to do it and do it incredibly well. So season 1 was black marble, so we thought season 2, why don't we do white marble collection? This time, the white marbling, it just did not turn out the way we wanted it to. It looks graphic. It looks like, it doesn't look like it's been hand marbled like the other one. As I said, it just looks like a graphic. So yeah, don't take these as like the final product or whatever. This is literally the first prototype. Like, if I showed you guys the first prototype of season 1, it's not pretty. But I just want to say how, this is the backside of this too shall pass. This is one of our designs. Imagine this just white. We're going white tee, and also the quality of these, like, you can tell the quality of these shirts is a lot different from the quality of these. Obviously this is such high production value, so the difference is basically, we want to just get this done quickly so that way we can just get a feel for sizing and design rather than the actual final material. But long story short, this too shall pass. Imagine just a strictly white shirt. Don't imagine this stupid marbling effect that we have on right now. And right here, do not fear. And if you notice, it actually says Gadzhi, like spiraling out from the middle. So that's one design. Obviously, we're just gonna go classic white Pride Victories. I mean, the amount of times that this is sold out and we've restocked and restocked, and now we've cut it off. So Pride Victories is officially sold out. So as I said, this is just gonna be clean white, no marbling. Here's another one, marginal gains. And if you notice here, it says marginal gains, and that's a concept I'm obsessed with. You guys know that things like Pride Victories means a lot to me, marginal gains means a lot to me. You guys have been hearing me say this too shall pass for years. My cup runneth over. There's just certain things that are near and dear to my heart. So as I said, this marginal gains sort of globe thing, and then it's got Gadzhi clothing, and then here at the back I'm actually going to increase this print by maybe like 50%, so it'll be a little bit bigger. Once again, marginal gains, Gadzhi collection, some more inscribing there. All in all, it's incredible. And then we're also doing a Pride Victories hoodie, because you guys were upset that you didn't see that last time. Last time, obviously, we went for the Youth Never Satisfied. Once again, this is actually the second prototype we ever got of the hoodies, and it's actually the one that I've kept on to the longest, and that's just kind of for sentimental value. This thing is beat up. This should have the printing on it, and yeah, all this thing is beat up, it's dead, but yeah, so that is the update on season 2. From the time of watching this, I think season 2, we need to get the second prototypes done, and then I'll probably do some more finishing touches for the third prototypes. And all in all, we should be good to launch in around 2.5 months. This is also just to let you know that we are not doing any more restocks on season 1. So we have a very limited supply of the hoodies left. We have a very limited supply of I think actually the small is sold out. Dreams, they said we couldn't, so we did t-shirts. And now there's only the medium, large, and extra large. And guys, we've already done a couple restocks, but I told you there's a very finite timeline, and this season 1, like, once it's done, it's done. That's how it works, and that's how we're operating this clothing line. So before you end up like one of the hundreds of people who have DM'd me and been like, oh, can you please do a Pride Victories restock, even though we did a couple, and they had the chance to, go ahead and pick up your Dreams. They said we couldn't, so we did t-shirts and the Youth Never Satisfied hoodies before they are done, before they are sold out. As I said, that is the final restock that we're doing. And yeah, very excited for these season 2. Not gonna lie, I'm super disappointed in those prototypes, but at the end of the day, like, that's a prototype 1. Like, with season 2, I think 5 or 6 prototypes went into the final product. So yeah, that's prototype 1. By the second one, it'll look much closer to the final product, and the third one, we'll get it on point. So that's a little update on Gadzhi clothing line. So ladies and gentlemen, I hope you enjoyed that scattered vlog. We had a $20,000 2-day webinar build close. We had a supplement update. We had a
sorry, an update on Danny's anus.
As Kieran said, we had an update on Danny's anus. We had a very moody drone edit. Thank you, Pete. And then lastly, we had an update on the Gadzhi clothing line. So all in all, as I said, I apologize. This was a little bit of a scattered vlog. I hope you guys enjoyed that breakdown and that footage from what is, as I said, like, please understand this. That was such an unorthodox call for us. I am not normally like that. Actually, we're always exactly like that. But once we have signed a client, then we show more of our personalities, become real quirky, and that's helped retention so much because we build such strong relationships and, to be honest, friendships with our clients. Yes, we get great results for them, but we also help them in all other areas of their business so they feel safe, because once again, with our e-commerce and our info product clients, we advise and we help with everything from landing page speeds, how to squeeze more money using email marketing from the leads that they've already got, to this and that. Now, none of it is included in the retainer, but these are all just extra value adds that we like to implement as an agency. So they feel extremely happy because we're getting them incredible results. They feel extremely safe knowing that if there's any sort of issue, we can help regardless of whether that's within the scope of our service offering. And they feel excited and happy to work with us because every single client check-in call, once we get business out the way, it's a hell of a lot of fun too. So I hope you took something from this vlog. Can you go ahead and smash the like button if you want to see more of these vlogs? As you can tell from how many days apart this was, it's getting a little difficult to manage the agency, the workload with all of this too. So smash the like button, show some support in the comments if you want to see more of these. I'll see you guys in the next one.